Welcome back to Lambeau Leapers Live. I'm joined with Lambeau Leapers, aka Alex. Today we have some juice. Usually you think, oh, they're going to talk about the draft. That's going to be boring. They talked about the draft the last 2 months. No, we got some juice. We have arguably the greatest quarterback to ever live, and he wants out of Green Bay. We're going to break it all down. Alex, outside of the Rodgers situation, how's it going?
Good.
Same. Now, for the Rodgers situation, how's it going?
Not good. Terrible. Feel terrible. I don't know. Just Packers fans in general, probably not in a great state of mind at this point. Hard to think about anything other than Aaron Rodgers. And I think he's got all of our minds pretty much locked in. I don't know. It's hard to really go throughout the day without a solution to this. And we all want a resolution, but we're going to talk about if there is one, a possibility. So.
Absolutely. And it started leaking on draft night a couple hours before Trevor Lawrence was taken by the Jags. There were some rumors that that Rodgers hasn't liked what the management has done in Green Bay. He wants out, and then Mark Schlereth became the hottest man on campus for a little while. It's like, yeah, Broncos. Nothing happened on draft night. We sit here 6 days later. Nothing has actually happened. Aaron Rodgers is still employed by the Green Bay Packers. But it's a weird situation, as I mentioned in the title. It is like Jeopardy in a way. Like, of course, he hosted Jeopardy for a little while. I think they've changed the host now, but he hosted Jeopardy for a little while, and now his career with the Packers is in jeopardy. There's a weird stat going around that no Packers quarterback has ever played a 17th season. I don't know how much you buy into that, but Favre left after 16. I think Starr left after either 15 or 16, and then Rodgers would be entering his 17th season with Green Bay. And here we are. Probably not the situation you wanted to be talking about today.
No, yeah. I mean, the draft was terrible last year when we took a quarterback. I'm not mad that we took a quarterback, but to have, now Rodgers' future in jeopardy at that point was like not a fun thought. Why would they do this? He's still a great quarterback, even if he wasn't the MVP last year, the year before that at that point. I mean, and then we saw what he's able to do once again. And now that pick to me looks even worse because it's just disgruntled the league's MVP. And it's just hindsight, really. I mean, you can understand that, okay, he wasn't playing as great. Maybe his skills are diminishing, and they give it a shot, like by taking a quarterback. But he has completely turned that upside down by how he's played, and that's really all the leverage that he has, how he's played. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. The draft pick was not fun. And then now this year, to have one of the best days of the year for NFL fans, the draft, to have it ruined right before the draft starts, now it's like, it may not matter what we do in this draft because of this. This has been a tough offseason, and this is, just because we know that the urgency is so high to help try to get him another Super Bowl. And then they didn't even, participate in free agency from the outside. And now, obviously, something – I don't know what – first of all, I don't know exactly what the situation is. Like, all I can tell you for sure is that he is in a state of mind that he's disgruntled. The word that keeps being spread around is disgruntled, upset, frustrated. I mean, those are the words that sum up how he feels. But one thing I don't know is why exactly, and also how it got to this point from where it actually was after the end of the season. So there's a lot of things that we don't know about, and that's because he hasn't talked about this at all. He hasn't spoken to anybody. All he said, if you wanna go to the only thing we know about what he said, at the Kentucky Derby, he had talked to Mike Tirico off the record, and he had basically just said, I love Green Bay, I love the fans, I love the organization. I'm disappointed that this got out. And, that kind of contradicts everything that the media is saying, that they're saying this was all on Rodgers' side, that this was a Rodgers leak, that they were trying to spite the team on draft day. To me, if he wanted to get traded, it doesn't make a lot of sense for him to do this right before the draft. Maybe it was a last-ditch effort to get traded. I don't know. But they're not going to trade him, and that's, number one, if Green Bay was going to trade him, I don't think they would have let Tim Boyle, their backup, longtime backup, I don't think they would have let him walk after being able to re-sign him on a very cheap deal. I don't think they would have done some of the moves that they've made, like re-signing Aaron Jones and trying to bring this team back together completely to kind of run it back. I'm not sure. There was reports about Michael Silver of NFL Network saying that Rodgers was recruiting guys to come to Green Bay this offseason in free agency. And he stood by that today. I chatted with him a little bit, and he's standing by that report that happened at some point, and that on multiple occasions with guys. Not exactly when, but he reported this a few weeks prior to the draft. So there's definitely, I don't know, a lot of conflicting reports. We haven't heard from Aaron Rodgers, which is why I'm only concerned, really. I'm not like resigned to the idea that he's gone. I certainly don't think that's the case. But I just don't know. There's so many variables to this. It's really the biggest story in sports in several years.
Absolutely. And I deep down, I think Aaron Rodgers will start week 1 for the Packers. I feel the same way about Watson. Like, I think Watson, well, at least until all the off the field stuff, Watson, I felt was going to be a member of the Texans heading into the season. So, like, these are the kind of things that you don't think they're going to get traded. You don't think anything's going to happen until it does. And that's the position that I tend to hold. But I thought this quote was interesting that the Packers didn't really talk about Jordan Love to Aaron Rodgers. And then you have Bruce Arians making sure Tom Brady's like, hey, are you cool with us taking Kyle Trask at 64? If you have any qualms, let me know. And I think that is, I guess, a misstep on the Packers side that I think drafting a quarterback isn't the worst idea. And I'm sure Aaron Rodgers knows deep down that like drafting a quarterback makes sense for the Packers as an organization. But to not discuss the move and to not discuss the variety of moves that, like, I'm wearing a Chargers jersey in honor of Corey Linsley, former Packer, now Charger, that I'm sure Aaron Rodgers would have been banging the table for Corey Linsley to come back. I'm sure he would have been banging the table for a lot of free agents, whether the ones they signed or whether ones they didn't sign, although I don't remember them signing too many players. So you get the idea that over these last 15, 16 years in Green Bay, you kind of want to, if you're Aaron Rodgers, you want to have some sort of say in the matter. And it has never really seemed that he has. Of course, Green Bay is a unique situation in terms of ownership. And what is it? And you have Gutekunst, the GM, and there's just like weird dynamics that only happen in Green Bay. And of course, Green Bay is a different market from the rest of really professional sports. And I think there's a lot of factors involved, and it's hard to work through.
Yeah, well, number one, the communication is obviously a major issue that starts with Mark Murphy, the president and CEO, and then it also goes down to what Brian Gutekunst has done. Number one, I think Mark Murphy and Brian, dating back to that draft, there should have been legitimate communication weeks prior to the draft, even months, talking about, there's a possibility that we take a quarterback here, but you're still our guy. That would have qualmed a lot of the issues for sure. Mm-hmm. That's one thing I think that could have been done, but obviously not even a realistic possibility for them. That stems with Mark Murphy and Brian Gutekunst. And then after that, any move that's been made, whether it's cutting Jordy Nelson, letting Randall Cobb walk, letting Clay Matthews walk, Jake Kummerow was the one that was thrown around, this weekend, but I'm not, that's just like one of many, probably one of the ones that he didn't like, just punny of those situations. He just wants, I know he wants more say in personnel decisions, and Brian Gutekunst came out and said that's not new that they give him say, or if they were open to his input, and they've said before that they're open to his input if he'd give it. That doesn't, that doesn't add up, because I know Rodgers wants more of that. And he obviously hasn't gotten it, because I don't think Jordy Nelson would have been released. I don't think Clay Matthews would have been let walk. I don't think Corey Linsley. And they have brought a bunch of guys back, and Rodgers understands that this is a business and money matters, and you can't bring everybody back. But there's a lot of instances where Rodgers would have liked some more, some level of like input on different matters, and we haven't gotten that. And that's definitely an issue as well. But the communication is certainly the number one thing. And I think it's because, they're holding Matt LaFleur out of a lot of the personnel decisions. He doesn't get a lot of that say. He has guys he likes, but he's not in there helping make the decisions. It's such an interesting, they really closed I think the communication is extremely poor, and that's derailed everything, and that's what's really gotten everything to this point. Matt LaFleur is certainly unhappy. I mean, he's not going to be happy if Aaron Rodgers is not the starting quarterback on this team. Rumors have been going around. I remember after the draft, Adam Schefter was on ESPN talking about, the Jordan Love pick. And he had said, in a passing comment, he just said, I'm not even sure Matt LaFleur was happy with the Love pick. And that threw me off guard because obviously, why would they pick a guy that the head coach, didn't know about or was surprised? He might have said surprised by the pick. Mm-hmm. And that just makes no sense to me. But then we've also heard other reports, especially in recent weeks, about how Matt LaFleur just isn't involved in those personnel decisions much. And to me, that's like a real issue. And obviously, if they're not involving the head coach, they're not going to involve Aaron Rodgers in the decisions as well. And he wants that. I know that for a fact. And he doesn't want. I don't think he wants the GM fired. I don't know if that. I really don't think that's true. And AJ Hawk said that's not like him, and I agree. Just like I don't think he's going to sit out. I don't think he's the type to sit out. He never has been. And just like he's not the type to come out and dispute every negative report about him in the media. All this stuff has gone on for years. There's so many different things that have been said about him that he has claimed to be untrue, but he's not going to just step into a media setting and dispute every single thing. You know what I mean? Like a lot of this stuff is not adding up, and until we really hear from him, we're not going to know the true situation. But to me, none of this stuff is really adding up, and it starts with the communication. Matt LaFleur is really not involved, and I don't think he's going to have much of an impact because of that. It's really like this stranglehold of power that Brian Gutekunst and Mark Murphy have. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what the situation is there with that.
So I read some things over the week, and people said that, oh, well, the Patriots drafted quarterbacks in the second round all the time when Brady was there. Yes, but they didn't trade up, and it wasn't a first-round pick. I'm sure Brady had someone in his ear saying, hey, we're going to draft this Garoppolo guy. Don't worry, your job's fine. Then he wins the Super Bowl immediately after. Or you draft, they got Kyle Trask this year with Tampa Bay that, hey, Brady, we're not trying to push you out or anything. We're looking for the future here. We're going to use our second pick on a quarterback. And I think Brady would be okay with that. But the point I'm trying to make is Green Bay traded up into the first round. Well, I guess they had the first round pick, but traded up in the first round to get a quarterback, and they didn't tell anybody. And from what it seems, the head coach didn't know and the starting quarterback didn't know, and I think that's a big red flag. So I think there is reason for Rodgers to be upset, but like I said, I still think he's going to be a Packer day one. Week one, probably against the Bears, might be Sunday Night Football again. I think you're going to see number 12 walking out of that tunnel with Rodgers on the back in Lambeau.
Yeah, that's my hope at least. And one thing today I'll point out, Brett Favre, of course, chiming in on this situation because he's Brett Favre. He has a relationship with Aaron Rodgers. He's had some serious, private discussions with Aaron, especially about things like this, and they can relate to each other. Similar situations, but very different, as Brett said today. He said he texted Aaron, I predict you'll be in a Saints uniform this year. Way to contribute to the recruitment effort, Brett. But and then Rodgers did end up saying, hi, buddy, thanks for reaching out. I don't think that's going to happen. We'll touch base, when this is all over. And that seems like a small little thing. And it's such a weird exchange. But that can't be a bad thing, maybe he's like, okay, the Saints aren't trading for a quarterback and the Packers aren't going to trade me to the NFC. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it's like, I probably am not getting traded. Maybe it's that. I have hope that it's that. But even if not, he does say that there's an end point. He says, when this is all over. And I know Green Bay's not trading Aaron Rodgers. They've said it so many times that if, fans would be calling for their heads if they did make that move after literally they've said it over and over again. There's no circumstance in which we're trading Aaron Rodgers. They've said that. Mm-hmm. So they can't just go around and not do that. Even though, yes, I mean, there's been an occasion where, like, Odell Beckham Jr., we're not going to trade Odell Beckham Jr., and they do it. I mean, he said that one time. That was a one, and then people just shut that down. And then he did get traded. But this isn't Odell Beckham Jr. This is the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. Matt LaFleur said that. They're not going to trade Aaron Rodgers, and Matt LaFleur, everybody wants him back. But that comment to me, that signals that there's an end point. They're not trading him. So what is the end point? It's him coming back. And I think that I have hope for that. I think Packers fans should not be resigned to this idea that he's not coming back. You should have some level of optimism. Brian Gutekunst says he has optimism that it'll be Aaron Rodgers. Matt LaFleur is going to, they're all Mark Murphy. Everybody wants him back. I don't think Rodgers is going to go out and alienate his teammates by sitting out of the season and taking everybody's chance. He knows how big of a part he is to trying to win this Super Bowl. He is the Green Bay Packers. Mercedes Lewis said that when this news came out. Aaron Rodgers is Green Bay. If we're going to win a Super Bowl, he has to be here, and he knows that. Mercedes is one of his closest friends. He was surprised by these rumors that were getting out. Nothing's adding up to me that this is the end for him. And as much as the reports go around saying there's a 5% chance he comes back, there's a 0% chance he comes back. To me, I think when the season rolls around, if they don't work it out with him contractually and have an agreement about his personnel, say and input, to me, he'll play in spite of what they're doing in the front office. He's gonna do this for his teammates. I don't see him. He's never been the type of guy to do that, to sit out, alienate his teammates who are trying to win a Super Bowl. Right. He knows how big of a part of that he is, and I think he'll be back. I just have a lot of hope and faith in Aaron Rodgers, in the front office, to be able to get him all back. And obviously, that's what I'm hoping for. So,
yeah, the rumors are he's getting traded to Denver, he's getting traded to San Francisco. Then they took Trey Lance. Then you have, he's going to retire. He's going to go host Jeopardy full time, which I think is hilarious, at least. If I was like an odds maker, I'd say there's a 95% chance that he begins the season with Green Bay, and there's like a 4.9% chance he retires, because Green Bay is not trading him. There are some of the goofiest trades that I've ever seen. Like, you're talking pick swaps with like the Dolphins, and Tua goes. There was one three-way trade. It was Pittsburgh, Miami, and Green Bay, and Tua moves like 17 million first-round picks move, and then Aaron Rodgers ends up in Miami. Like, why would the Steelers facilitate Aaron Rodgers to Miami?
No, yeah,
without getting Tua.
And I want to say one thing. All these reports coming out, it's only been from. I don't think Rodgers is putting any of this out. I think he's being truthful when he says, like, this is disappointing that this got out. He said he referenced a rift between them. He's disappointed that this rift got out between him. He says he loves Green Bay. He loves the organization. He loves, his teammates, the fans. And now he wants out, and fans are turning on him is mind-boggling to me. They're not trading him. I mean, fans have to stop thinking he's getting traded, because everything they've said, everything Rodgers has said, I don't think he's getting traded. Look, and we haven't heard from Rodgers yet either. We haven't heard from Rodgers really coming down and talking about this. So I'm kind of sick of people just saying, Aaron's out. It's over. It's over. Love time. Like, it's like, no. We have Aaron Rodgers as the quarterback until they make some kind of drastic move. I mean, we have Aaron Rodgers. So, I mean, we should all keep hope that he'll be back, and I have a lot of faith that he will. And if you can go on to one video that I had posted yesterday, I would love to play that here and kind of show, the complete, 180 that's gone on here, a complete turn. If you can play that with audio, are you able to do that?
I don't think so.
It's kind of quiet. I can hear it. It's kind of quiet. I'm not sure if you can raise that up, but if not, I can kind of detail it.
But look, I think there's not many absolutes, you guys know, in this business. So to make an absolute statement about something that is not an absolute, just I didn't do it, and I guess that's why I'm kind of nuts. My future is not in my hands. Now, that's really the case for all of us, I think, as players. But you can't, I think, naturally, there's times where you let your mind go to maybe, I'm going to be a Packer for life, or I'm going to be, be like a Tim Duncan or a Jeter or a Kobe and play with one team right back there. I think naturally you dream about that. I mean, that's kind of like a dream scenario. I've talked about that for much of my career. I think, when they drafted Jordan, it was more just like the reality kicking in going, hey, that's actually never the case. There are no absolutes in this business. I think in general, that's a weird way to look at it. You start talking about leverage and different things. Like, I don't know. The only leverage I feel like that I have is the way I play. And that speaks for itself. I'm around this week, so I'm not like jetting out of town and sayonara Green Bay. Like, there's conversations we had. I'm going to have them with the right people, but it's the same conversation we have every single year. There's nothing. There's no like big. I'm going to come to the table with I need this and this and this. Like, look, we have honest conversations about where we're at every single year. Whether that's Brian, Matt, Mark, we've had these conversations for years. I think it's part of like being a leader on the squad and pulse of the team, and the direction that we're going. And we'll have the same conversations we do every year. I always look forward to those conversations. I don't know what their future is going to be, and myself included.
As we saw with that clip from Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show, it's more like a working relationship, I think, more than anything. And this is, I think, a bump in the road more than like a stop sign for the Packers and Rodgers. This is if you're with an organization for 17 years like Rodgers has been, there are going to be some hiccups. We saw it with Brady. We saw it with Kobe. He mentioned in LA. There was a chance that Kobe was going to get shipped off to the Bulls. And if the Bulls wanted, I think if the Bulls threw in Luol Deng, Kobe Bryant ends his career in Chicago, not LA. And sometimes it comes to it. Tim Duncan was on a plane to go to Orlando, and then Orlando said, oh, well, your family can't travel to the games with us. Or else Tim Duncan doesn't end his career with the Spurs. So even these guys, like the Jeters, Duncans, the Kobes that he mentioned, there were some points of no return that like Tim Duncan just didn't go beyond because he didn't commit to Orlando, or the Lakers didn't say, okay, Chicago, we'll take Luol Deng. Or it was either Deng or Ben Gordon, I don't remember. But regardless, there are these points in every like relationship like this with the Brady and the Patriots. It actually happened. Like the relationship broke. Duncan and the Spurs, Kobe and the Lakers, it was coming really close to breaking, that it stayed intact and they came back together. And I think that's going to be the story of this Packers ordeal, that I don't know how much of a story it is. Of course, Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks ever. So that's the story in and of itself. But I don't think he goes anywhere. And I don't think Rodgers thinks he's going anywhere. And certainly Packers brass says he's not going anywhere because he's not going anywhere. And I would be shocked if he played on a different team. If he retired, that's a whole nother thing. But if he played on a different team, if he was in Denver, he said Vegas, right? Or
those could be real, but he didn't say anything. That's the thing. Everybody says he said this, he said that. And I'm not pointing at you there, but like all throughout the media, we're hearing, oh, Rodgers doesn't want this, or Rodgers said this. Mm-hmm. No, we don't. That's the thing. And that's why everybody's jumping to all these conclusions about him and where he's going. I just don't, I just don't see that. I just don't, we have to hear what he has to say. And so far, the only things he said are that he loves Green Bay, and that, he's disappointed that this stuff got out. Honestly, to me, I think what he wants is he wants them to feel like he wants them to feel what it would be like to go without him. They want him to feel what it's like. They want him to know how important he is. He has an ego. Everybody does. But he's also sensitive. Everybody is in some way. Everybody has their thing. He's sensitive in the fact that he feels like he's not being treated like the player, the value that he is to this football team because he is Green Bay. Right. I think he wants them to feel a little bit of like, oh my gosh, without Aaron Rodgers, we need Aaron Rodgers. Then he wants to hear them say he's the greatest quarterback of all time. We need him. He wants that because he feels like he hasn't been treated like that. So he wants them to like miss him a little bit. I think that's part of it. I feel like he's playing a game here, and he has every right to be upset. He has every right to play a game with this front office because they've been playing games with him for a long time. And I just hope that something comes around and changes that for sure. And I think it will. I have a strong feeling about it.
So I want to jump to the Devontae Adams quote. Got to appreciate what you got while you got it. I know it's from Adams, but I want to think it's from the Packers, and I think the Packers need to like appreciate Rodgers and say, hey, you can win a Super Bowl with him. You already won one. You can win a second one this year, next year. Like, you can win with Rodgers, and with Jordan Love, that's like a total up in the air. Like, I'm pretty optimistic about Love, but he's not Aaron Rodgers. At least right now, he's certainly not Aaron Rodgers. And there's a very low chance he ever gets to being, 70% of the player that Aaron Rodgers is today. That's the crazy thing, that he's 37, he's going to turn 38 during the season, and he's arguably the best quarterback in the NFL right now. I mean, whatever Mahomes does is always on ESPN, but I think you're looking at Rodgers as like that top tier guy, and you can win right now with him. And he's been your franchise for 16 years. Again, this is a Duncan, like Rodgers said, this is Duncan, Kobe, Jeter, that he wants to retire in Green Bay. And I think he will retire in Green Bay, whether that's this season, probably not, but moving forward, he could be a guy that plays until he's 42, 44, 45, because he, again, didn't play his first 3 years, just took like kneel down snaps, late game snaps. So you have 3 years without tread on the tires there, and you might be playing until you're 45. I don't think there's any number of first round picks you can give up for Green Bay to say, okay, we're going to give up 8 years of arguably the greatest quarterback to ever live.
Yeah, it's the pick that it all comes back to. I don't know. There's these reports going around about how he was telling, prospective free agents on the team, like Devontae Adams, whoever, David Bakhtiari, that he wasn't going to be there. And that's probably, to me, that probably came from the idea, like, look, they drafted this kid, so I don't know if I'm going to be there. And, he's upset, but I don't know if he really wants out. I don't know. It's just, we don't know. That's the thing. And I just find it hard to believe. And obviously all those guys re-signed, and, a league source told Peter Bukowski on Twitter when he asked him about this, he said they probably didn't believe him and they just re-signed. You know what I mean? I just Brett Favre said some things today. Rodgers is a great grudge holder. He's not coming back if he doesn't want to come back. Like, there's a certain level to this that we haven't ever seen from Rodgers, that, there are some elements that he has never, there's never been like this adversity thrown in his way, like of some of these things. I'm kind of phrasing it a little bit weird, but like some of these things we've never seen him like respond to. Like this idea that he's like moving on from the Packers is new. We've never seen that. Like, this is a new situation. So we're not sure exactly how he's going to respond, like in terms of sitting out. But he's never done that before, even through contracts and things like that. He's always come out and played.
Right.
And we still haven't heard from him come out and say, I'm not coming back. We haven't heard that. I just Ian Rappaport kind of, I don't know how much insight he gave on this. I don't know if you could pull that up, but he did say some stuff about he just kind of, I'll even read it here. This is an issue being fought on multiple fronts. You have the contract situation where Aaron Rodgers obviously wants a new deal, one that would ensure he's the Packers quarterback beyond 2021. Now, that was true at some point, but if they've offered that to him. I don't know how true that is anymore. I don't know if that's still true. I don't know how much insight Ian has on that. I think that is the big part of the issue, the big part. He's saying that's the number one part. He doesn't want to be replaced. He wants to be their starting quarterback. He wants more say in personnel decisions. This is where we are, and we'll see if Green Bay can fix it. I don't get the sense they're going to trade him at all. I don't think Rodgers is returning unless things change dramatically. I haven't heard specifically that he said, you have to trade me. Obviously, he was extremely discontent and frustrated and upset. I haven't heard officially that it's you must trade me. I think the best for all sides is that the issue should be fixed. These are essentially negotiations. It's contract negotiations. It's input negotiations. And we've seen this from a lot of quarterbacks. So to me, this is a negotiation, and he's using his leverage of like, okay, I'm the MVP. You can't win without me. I'm going to sit out, or I'm saying I'm not coming back until they give him what he wants. I think there's room for that. Packers are confident that there is room for that, where they can give him what he wants or whatever, but they have to do it. I mean, can't. The fact that it's even gotten to this point is a complete and colossal failure by the organization. But now they have to fix this. They have to fix this because Daniel Jeremiah said today on the Pat McAfee show, he said, you don't want to have traded the MVP Aaron Rodgers on your resume. And I've said this before, as soon as Aaron Rodgers, if he ever leaves, as soon as he goes out the door, everybody's job security is cut in half because now the urgency is set right to this point where if Love struggles, even out of the gate, maybe they have 2 years maximum. If Love struggles, Murphy's gone, LaFleur is even gone, and Brian Gutekunst is absolutely gone. And that's it. I mean, that's how it goes, and that's what can turn an organization upside its head quickly. So I don't think they want him gone. Rodgers knows that he has a lot of leverage by the fact that he's the MVP, but this is also his last chance to try to demand some security and other things that he wants because he just played MVP. He's tired of feeling like, every season is a question mark. He wants security that he's going to be the guy. He wants security that he's going to be the guy. He's tired of going season to season. If I get injured, I'm done in Green Bay. He wants to be the quarterback in Green Bay. He wants it for years. He has wanted it for his whole career to finish in Green Bay. I think now he's tired of looking over his shoulder. I think he just wants that security. And, this is his best chance to get that because he just won MVP. He does have leverage because of how he played. Like you mentioned in that video from after the NFC Championship game, he has leverage based on how well he played. So he's using it right now. And, you don't blame him for that. And my hope is that they do get it to a point where he's back. He's the quarterback for now and the future. And that, he doesn't have that constantly looking over his shoulder that he has to deal with and is able to finish in Green Bay.
Absolutely. How much of the Rodgers shenanigans right now would you maybe attribute to him being on the sideline watching another Packers quarterback legend and Brett Favre have this will he go, will he stay ordeal in 05, 06, 07, then when he eventually left to go to the Jets?
I see that's tough because he's seeing it from both sides now. You would think he'd be a little less likely to do something like that because he knows how he felt, But this is a completely different situation for many reasons. Number one, the Packers had a losing season when that whole situation had happened where Rodgers was named the starter and they had when they had drafted Rodgers, they had a losing season prior to that. But then Favre was constantly, considering retirement and things like that. This is the first we've ever even heard a whisper of a Rodgers retirement. But that's, he's said he's played, he wants to play 5 to 7 more years. I believe that over a report about he's willing to retire rather than play for the Packers, whatever. So he's been on both sides. He understands that, but this is also different because, he just won the MVP. Favre we talked about considering retirement. Packers just won the MVP. They're close. Jordan Love's not ready. Brian Gutekunst said that without anybody asking him. Unprompted, he said Jordan Love's not ready. He has a long way to go. They want him. They know that they can't win without him. Matt LaFleur is going to be, he's going to be extremely disappointed if Rodgers isn't the quarterback, as will everybody else in that building. But there's only so many people that can get blamed for that. And, Matt LaFleur's not one of them. He's stuck in the middle of this without a lot of control or even a lot of say because he doesn't get a ton of personnel input. And he also doesn't get, he can only do so much with Rodgers. I think that's the strongest relationship with, any front office situation. But Matt LaFleur's not in the front office. As much as some coaches are, he doesn't have a lot to say. He's a young coach. Brian Gutekunst is there. They're all on the same level. Russ Ball, Brian Gutekunst, and Matt LaFleur. They're all on the same level, reporting to Mark Murphy. But it's Mark Murphy's on the football side. It's Matt LaFleur on the football side, and Brian Gutekunst and Mark Murphy controlling all those personnel decisions. And it's just a complete puzzle piece that we just don't know. It's really a 1,000-piece puzzle, a 1,000,000-piece puzzle. It's so many pieces to it, can't put it together. But I'm trying, and I feel like I have a strong grasp of the situation. And nothing has led me to believe that Rodgers is out the door. So, all these reports, they make you question, all these thought processes, and they make you, question people you thought you knew, a lot about. Like you think you know a lot about Aaron Rodgers, but then all these reports come out tarnishing his name and saying he's acting like a diva. And these are things that he's never done. It makes you question your thought process on the whole situation. But when you come back to what you know, and what you do know is that what he said is that he loves Green Bay, loves the fans, loves the organization. We know that he's, he was upset that this got out, and I believe that. And there's a lot of things that he hasn't said, but I know that by liking that tweet, he wants, that Devontae tweet, he wants to feel a little more like an all-star quarterback, and they're not treating him, apart from the money, which has always been good. They're not treating him like a superstar, like the face of the NFL, like he truly is.
Right, and it's like you're talking 3-time MVP. He brought a championship back to Green Bay, and you've been very close. And this is the kind of thing it might be a mindset thing. If he at times that if Rodgers feels like Green Bay's behind him, I feel like the situation gets better. In 2010 when they were like backs against the wall and it's Green Bay versus the world as a 6th seed, they go on this miracle run to the Super Bowl. And then really since then it's been MVP Rodgers. Oh, well, you're such a disappointment. You lost to the Giants. Well, it's not really his fault. The defense allowed a bazillion points to Eli Manning. Or in 2013 and 2014, like Colin Kaepernick says, LOL. Or in recent years, the Falcons year, getting killed by the Niners again. And then this year with the Tampa Bay game. Some of it can be a mindset thing. If Aaron Rodgers and the team goes into that situation saying the organization is backing us, we have nothing to lose here, let's go get the W. I think Green Bay thrives on that. For as like historical franchise, they're never really going to be the underdog, but I think there is some of that underdog mentality that Rodgers has. He plays with a chip on his shoulder. That's what the 24th, 25th draft pick in 2005. And I think that can be lacking at times in the Green Bay situation, that sometimes I think Green Bay thinks, oh, well, Rodgers is like too good, too valuable. He's going to be here forever. And Rodgers at times thinks that, but also wants like a little bit more control. Well, I want this guy in the draft. I want a wide receiver here. For all I know, Amari Rodgers could be handpicked by by Aaron Rodgers. Doubt it, but who knows at this point? It's a goofy situation, and I do think a lot of it's off-season fodder, and it's the middle of May. We need to talk about stuff. We're going to have shows to fill the rest of the summer for actually all of our shows. So a little bit is probably just heightened by there's no news going on. It's Aaron Rodgers is the only show in town. Like the big news yesterday was Alejandro Villanueva signs or Casey Hayward signs. Like marginal players that are going to play, like, okay, right? But then Aaron Rodgers is boom, 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 boom. And I think it's a little overblown in Green Bay.
Well, yeah, I mean, with Aaron Rodgers, it always is. I mean, it dates back to those things that were being reported about him and his relationship with McCarthy and the front office. Like, a lot of that stuff was being reported. And, it's just like every time Rodgers is in the news, somebody wants to just throw gasoline in the situation and light that fire up. Like, and there's a lot of stuff that's come out. Like, do I think he wants Brian Gutekunst fired? I highly doubt it, but I certainly think that he's probably discontent with some of the decisions he's made. Davante Adams liked the tweet saying that Gutekunst was the one who fired Jordy Nelson in response to the Jake Kumaro thing. Like, Aaron Nagler said, let's not forget, Gutekunst also cut Jordy Nelson, and Davante Adams liked that tweet as well. So I think there are some players who are certainly not happy with some of the decisions that they've made, and that's got to make Brian Gutekunst. He had said, on draft day, or whatever day, Saturday or Friday, that report came out about him wanting to be fired, or Rodgers wanting Gutekunst fired. Whether that's true or not, that had haunted. He said that haunted him all day. That kept his mind in his mind frame all day long. So obviously, there's some. I don't know if that's true. He said Rodgers never stated that to him. He's never said that publicly. Just a lot of stuff that we don't know, and stuff keeps coming out. The Jerry Krause, group chat thing came out today. Telling teammates he's to not, I'm not going to be there. All these different things we really don't know until, because what the thing was, he had said in that video we just watched that I had posted yesterday. He said, "I don't think there's a reason I wouldn't be back." He said those words. He said he doesn't feel like he has any leverage, and he also said he's not going to come to the table demanding this and that. These are all things that everybody's saying he's doing right now. It's just such a weird situation. Like, it's either he has completely something dramatically changed between him and the front office, or like what's most likely is that the media is completely spinning this out of control. And to me, I'm hoping obviously it's the latter there, and obviously, I think all real Packers fans want Aaron Rodgers back and know that we don't have a shot at this thing, like we will if Aaron Rodgers is under center. So it's going to be the key there, and I'm excited.
Absolutely. So I think great show today. We got some shed some light on the Aaron Rodgers, and I think both of us believe in 4 months when we're doing like preseason stuff, Aaron Rodgers will still be QB1 of the Packers. And I think I'm pretty safe in saying that. You're pretty safe in saying that. So hopefully next week we can get to some draft stuff, because it was an interesting draft from Green Bay, especially in the lens of Aaron Rodgers wanting out allegedly.
Right.
So great show today. Make sure you tune in later today. Subscribers, tune in later today. We have Play Like a Jet coming on. Play Like a Jet Live. The big show tomorrow. My show with Jack on Friday. Raj is coming back for a draft breakdown on Saturday. Exciting times. Make sure you like the stream, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, join the U Stadium app, join the discussion, talk to me. I'm at Splash. He's at Lambeau Leapers. You can also follow him on Instagram at Lambeau Leapers. I had the Insta at Lambeau.leapers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, any last words before we wrap it up?
I would just encourage fans to slow down on everything and not jump to conclusions about the whole situation, and just kind of relax a little bit. We understand the reports that are coming out. I would say, I have to kind of take my own advice here, but try to relax about the situation. Try to get it out of your mind a little bit, because we've been all thinking about it literally 24/7. It's constantly in your thought process. I think we all kind of need to just relax a little bit and kind of, slow down. Let's see what happens. Let's hear what he has to say, and have faith in the process of Brian Gutekunst, Matt LaFleur. These guys are the ones that are getting paid to think about it 24/7. Aaron Rodgers probably can't stop thinking about it, although he seemed to enjoy himself quite a bit at the Kentucky Derby. But I'm sure it's, in the back of his mind constantly, the whole situation. The fact that he's disappointing Packers fans potentially hurts his, I know that hurts him. So he's got, everybody's going through this right now, and obviously, it's a tough situation, but let's just, trust this process that they're going through, and hope that it comes to a point where not only just this year, where we're looking at a last year for Aaron, but let's just hope they come to a spot where Aaron Rodgers feels like he is the guy for now and the future, and then we go and can get back to the real focus and quit this drama, which is winning a Super Bowl for Aaron Rodgers and the rest of this team, and then that should be the focus.
Absolutely. So that's going to wrap us up today. Again, make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel, follow us on socials. We will be back next Wednesday, maybe the normal time, who knows. And looks like we're going to be covering some draft stuff, unless there's more chaos on the Aaron Rodgers front, which of course there could be. So thank you for joining me, Alex. This has been Lambeau Leapers Live, and we will be back next week. Peace.